Hey everyone, it's Jack here, TalkNorwichCity. Welcome back to another video. I hope you're all well. I hope you survived Tuesday night's clash against Portsmouth. We will be getting into that in today's video. I thought it was necessary to make a video like this after the watch along. It was great fun. Thanks to everyone that tuned in. It's always joyous watching Norwich games alongside of all of our lovely viewers, even if it does result in a fairly poor 0-0 draw. But we need to talk about this decision around Kenny Mclean and his 4-game ban that he picked up for violent conduct in the match against QPR. Now, this news broke probably about an hour and a half before kickoff against Portsmouth on Tuesday night. Norwich City received the news at 3 p.m. on Tuesday. We'll get into that shortly. But the statement read, the FA have released the following statement in relation to a charge against Kenny Mclean following our fixture against QPR. An independent regulatory commission has suspended Norwich City's Kenny Mclean for 4 matches following violent conduct in their EFL Championship match against QPR on Saturday, December 7th. The midfielder's behaviour during the 24th minute of the game wasn't seen by the match officials at the time, but it was caught on camera, and the FA subsequently alleged that it constitutes violent conduct. Now, I saw that statement released on Twitter, and I must say I thought it was one of these accounts that's either pulled up old news or it was a fake Norwich City account, because I was at Loftus Road on Saturday and I straight away thought, well, I didn't see anything. What's happened? Either something big must have happened if it wasn't caught during the match and it's been caught on camera, and I can't remember a kerfuffle, and I can't remember anyone speaking about it. I can't remember QPR fans moaning about it. I can't remember any manager talking about it post-match. It must have been something maybe off the pitch or something that was just so bad, but it wasn't caught. Well, I've seen the footage back. It was the 24th minute of the game, and Kenny Mclean kind of throws an arm out. I say throw an arm out. He was moving like any normal human being would move on a football pitch. He was tracking, and he's, I think struck is probably a slightly overzealous word. He has caught the QPR player around the kind of neck region, and the QPR players made a meal of it. I must say there was very little reaction from the QPR players. There was very little reaction from the Norwich City players. It's clearly an accident. Kenny Mclean has apologised straight away. The QPR players made a bit of a meal of it, as most footballers do in the modern game. The assistant ref has seen it. The linesman saw it and didn't deem it a foul, and the referee hasn't given a card because, well, he hasn't seen it apparently. But anyway, his assistant referees, his linesmen have all seen it and deemed it not even a yellow card, which it wasn't. The FA, however, didn't agree, and because it's his second now sending off, he will pick up a 4-game ban. He, of course, picked up a 4-game ban after the Middlesbrough game, which, to be honest, very little to complain about. Actually, fairly stupid from Kenny Mclean to get an extra game ban off the back of that tackle in that game for the language that he used towards the referee after the incident. But this is absolutely ridiculous. It would have been a completely ridiculous decision if it had been made during the game. The fact that they've gone back after the game to look at this and then decide, oh, it's violent conduct, we're going to give him a 4-game ban, seems absolutely mental. I thought Johannes Torup's take after the match, speaking to the BBC and the Pinken and the other local press, was absolutely bang on. He came out with a brilliant line, which was basically like, well, I'm going to go back and watch every championship game and kind of write reports the FA deeming all of the incidents that have happened that weren't picked up during the game, but should be looked at and gone back through. Norwich City appealed this. They heard the decision, I think, at 2:30 on Tuesday. They appealed it, and by 3 o'clock that appeal had been chucked out. I mean, so much to go through here. The fact that this decision has been made on the day of a game, and Norwich City had been told literally 4 hours before kickoff that their captain and arguably their most important player was going to be out. I mean, that's a huge issue for Johannes Hoftorp and his coaching staff to deal with, and actually I thought they dealt with it fairly well considering the circumstances. There's no reason why the FA couldn't have gone, okay, let's get this game against Portsmouth out of the way and let's give them a 4-game ban from the Burnley match on Sunday. At least then there would have been a decent appeals process to go through, because clearly the fairly lengthy appeal that Norwich City have put together has been thrown out far too quickly. The FA have clearly made their mind up here and gone through with it. And at least then, you're not having to change the team around that you would have planned for since the previous week, and have to change it with literally hours to go before kickoff. This is it's a huge blow for Norwich City. They're now without their captain for another 4 matches. He will have missed 8 games through suspension in the last couple of months. That is not good. I think the first ban he's got no complaints about. This one he's got a lot to complain about. This feels incredibly harsh. This feels slightly unjust for Norwich City. And look, Johannes said that he can't remember ever having to deal with something like this in his football career. I can't remember a decision made like this since I've been supporting Norwich City. The crazy thing with all of this is that there was no chatter about it. There's been incidents, of course, in the past where decisions have been made after the game, whether it be, someone biting someone or extreme kind of violent conduct, that you go back and go, okay, I can see how that decision's been made. There needed to be something done about it. There's been lots of discourse since the match, and a decision's been made. I couldn't even remember it happening during the game. I couldn't remember a ruckus about it. It was all, very, someone's made a meal out of it. We get on with the game. We move on. Which also then leads into the fact of, talk about salt being rubbed into wounds. Well, Borja Sainz got a strike to the face later on in the game by Jimmy Dunn. Blood was literally pouring from his nose, and nothing's been done about that. Well, I think both were accidental. I'm not saying, Dunn should also be given a 4-game ban, but if you're retrospectively going back to give a 4-game ban for one thing, which I don't think should have happened, then surely for mere consistency, the other should also be disciplined. This is a really, I think, dangerous precedent to be setting in the EFL. All clubs have voted that not all clubs, but a vote was made that VAR wouldn't be brought into the Championship, which I agree with. I think VAR is an absolute stain on football, and will stand by that opinion. But going back and retrospectively refereeing football matches sets an alarming statement. It's surely now, if we want to be consistent with this, lots more cases are going to come up like this, and from a preparation standpoint, this is going to be an absolute nightmare for managers. Let's hope that it's kept consistent. Otherwise, Norwich City have been singled out unfairly, and I really hope that the FA don't do that. It was a difficult evening for Norwich City because of that. Their captain's been taken out. We struggled with him in the previous 4 games that he was suspended for, and I suspect we'll struggle without his presence in the next few games. It was just quickly touching on Tuesday evening. Look, I'm not overly upset with the performance that I saw. Was it pretty? No. Is it the style of football that Johannes Hoftorp would want to play? No. Was it necessary? Yeah, I think it probably was. There were plenty of people coming out of Loftus Road on Saturday going, let's just shut up shop, let's go Route 1 at Fratton Park. That's exactly what we did. It was effective to an extent in terms of picking up a clean sheet, picking up a point away from home, and then people are suddenly going, I didn't like that style of football, and we were not really improved since the defeat to QPR. Look, Johannes Hoftorp said himself that this is a style of football that he doesn't want to be playing going forwards. I think he called it a terrible football match, but it did feel necessary. It felt like a rot needed to be stopped away from home, and that's what's happened. And I think a clean sheet is important. I think it's something to build on. As I've said in previous videos, it almost feels as if Norwich, supporting Norwich, you're supporting 2 different teams at the moment. You're supporting the team at Carrow Road and you're supporting the team away from home. They are 2 extremes. At home we've been really good, and it feels as if we're constantly kind of on the verge of top 6 hopes when you watch them at Carrow Road, and then away from home, well, you're watching kind of relegation fodder. I think there are, I think, again, this is something that will be healed with time. We spoke about it when we were talking about injuries. Time is often a healer, and I think we're starting to see a philosophy from Johannes, and it's going to take time for that philosophy to bed into the players that he wants to work with. It's going to take time to get the players that he wants to work with in the building. This is a season of transition. Now, where we finish during this season of transition is still up in the air, and I think the January transfer window will be a big one. But I think there's still hope. At home we've been good. Away, we need to find an effective way of picking up results. And I'm not saying that's, long term, that's just knocking it route one into kind of an aging Ashley Barnes and hoping for the best. But you could see when Slimane and Hernandez and Fisher came on the pitch for the final half an hour that there were opportunities and there was fluidity about the performance. I think with time and with a bit more of a sample size to pick from, that these away performances can start to trend into something a bit prettier and a bit more functional and more fruitful in terms of the points that they kind of spit out. So look, it was a game that I suspect I won't be able to remember in a few months' time, but I think it's a game that we'll look back on and go, actually, that was an evening where we had to do, what we needed to do to just not lose that game. I think not losing was the agenda, and that was a tick in the box. Portsmouth, I think, will probably feel slightly hard done by with the disallowed goal. There was a penalty shout for a foul on Murphy from Jack Stacey. And Norwich created very little. I think actually it was one of our worst performances in terms of chance creation all season. So again, another difficult few days for Johannes. It feels like he's just being pelted left, right, and centre at the moment with FA decisions and injuries and performances and fixture lists, but that's the Championship. This is the route that we're having to navigate. It was never going to be easy, and it was always going to be a topsy-turvy journey, but it's still a journey I'm willing to go on. I think Johannes Hoftorp is brilliant. I think Ben Napper's shrewd, and I think there's a squad of players here that if with time can come good. And I think with January on the horizon as well, that presents opportunity for Norwich. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this Kenny Mclean situation, and can you recall something like this happening before in terms of the retrospective action over an incident that really caused no drama at all? I certainly can't think of one. Let me know down in the comment section below. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you all again very soon. Bye bye.